I died on a cold operating room table, November 7th, 2022. Not clinically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. That was the day my beautiful baby girl, Ruby Coral, was born. That was also the day that the version of myself I had rehearsed for decades disappeared. Until that point, I had been performing lines from a script I didn't even know I had memorized. Be perfect, be prepared, be everything to everyone. Yeah, sure. That got me a lot of applause, but it robbed me of my breath. It robbed me of my joy and of my radically authentic self. We all live by invisible scripts, rules about what it means to be a good leader, a good mother, a good lover, a good friend, about what it means to be worthy and worthwhile and safe. The wild part? Most of those scripts we didn't write. We absorbed them from our family, our friends, our fear, our trauma. Most of the beliefs that we hold as truth are not truth at all. They're just practiced thoughts, rehearsed lines. Psychologists say that about 70% of our internal dialogue is actually negative. It is critical and self-doubting. 70%. That means that the majority of the thoughts that are playing over and over and over in your heads on a loop are unhelpful. And in fact, they're probably harmful. But if they're just stories, if they're just scripts, then guess what? We can rewrite them. And that is what I'm here to talk to you about today. After Ruby Coral was born, everything collapsed. My once brilliant brain couldn't solve or sell because I was in deep postpartum depression. I mean, my glow had faded, and then with it, my cash flow faded as well. My business finances crumbled, and so did my household finances. My bills piled up, and so did my shame. We were robbing Peter and Paul to pay Trader Joe. I remember standing there one day at Ruby Coral on my hip. I had a once hot cup of tea in my hand, and I thought, I don't even recognize myself. And then maybe I never actually did. That was it. That was the moment I recognized the script that had been driving my life, driving my identity. Success means struggle. Rest is for the weak. You must be everything to everyone. The first step in any rewrite is recognition. You have to recognize the script in order to rewrite it. But you're not just recognizing it to judge yourself or to judge the script. You're recognizing it to call it out for what it is, to name it, to be aware of it, and then to be clear that it is not the truth. Because you cannot rewrite something you still believe is the truth. Once I recognized what was going on, I was like, oh, the jig is up, right? I got curious. Was it true that my income and my worth were linked? That the amount of money in my bank account represented my sense of value as a human being? Was it true that being a breadwinner meant I had to bleed for it? Was it true that rest was an indulgence? Or Were these just the lines of the scripts I had practiced over and over and over again until I believed they were law? That's when I started to reframe. I reframed failure not as the evidence that I was broken, but of the evidence that I was becoming. I reframed rest from laziness to wisdom. And I reframed leadership from martyrdom to presence. When you reframe, many of you might be thinking, she's just lying to herself. This woman is deluded. I promise that I am not. I promise that the reframe is not just another lie. The reframe is another perspective of the truth, a better perspective, a more helpful perspective, one that frees you instead of trapping you. The third step of this is to rewrite. And I would love to sit up here and tell you that my rewrite was like smooth as glass. It was as smooth as glass if the glass was broken. I was so hard-headed. I was like, no, I know what I have to do, but I'm gonna push, and I'm gonna fly, and I'm gonna pitch to prove that I can earn my comeback, and I'm worthy to be back up here. Spoiler alert, that didn't work. That's not how rewrites start. Rewrites don't start with pushing. My rewrite started with therapy. And a little bit of Lexapro, just sprinkled on in there. It started with neuro-linguistic programming. It started with rituals of rest, reflection, and redemption. I uncoupled my identity from the amount of money that was in the bank account. I took guilt-free naps like it was my job. And I stood in unearned silence. When you are in the middle of your rewrite, you then need to look at yourself and say, well, what was my old story? Well, my old story was that I had to earn love, worth, and value through constant achievement. But my new story is that I am worthy because I am. That means that my boundaries, my love, my values, they all matter. I honor my ancestors by breaking the chains they could not. The legacy for Ruby Coral is one of power and peace, not struggle and survival. She will inherit joy from me, and that is the rebellion. Rewriting does not change the past, but it does allow us to learn different lessons from it so that we can change the trajectory of our futures. So I ask you, what scripts have you been living by? Who wrote them? And are they still serving you? We all live by invisible scripts that form an identity, but they're just rehearsed scripts. And that means we can change them. So recognize the script, reframe the belief, and rewrite the ending. Recognize, reframe, rewrite. Because the world does not need the version of you who pretends. The world needs the version of you who knows who she is. The one who stands up and shows up with her radically authentic self. The one who is bold, the one who takes up space. The one who is brave enough to pick up the pen and say, this is my story. And if someone decides to hand you their pen, just smile, hand it back, say, no, thank you. I write my own story now. Thank you.